Hey everybody, it's Spy here, and today I'm bringing you this character. A character you may have seen already. And when you last saw him, he was, I believe, level 30, 35 or so. And today, he's, well, he's at champion point levels now. And I'd like to talk to you guys about this character. He is by far one of the best builds I have made in any game. I just love this character. I love what we've done here with him. I love how he works out. Now, the first week we did a tank build, which was the Vamplar, and then week 2 we did a damage dealer. Following that trend, today we are doing a healer. And on what class, you may be asking? A Nightblade. An orc one at that. Let's get into the video here, and I want you guys to follow along with me on this, because this character is a fun time. He is a utility healer. He mostly will do a lot of the way he works is he works around staying alive and using that health to heal his allies. Now you will not have many issues with this build if you run the same way I have him, and he's kind of an immortal character for me. He just takes hits like a badass. He doesn't really, he doesn't really react to a lot of damage coming into him. He's tankier than most for sure, and I would say he's a really unique healer. I would say the reason I would say he's a unique healer is because he shows a lot of what I would say utility. And as a damage dealer or as a healer, your thing is to keep the party alive. And I took that to its logical extreme and decided that to keep them alive, why not kill them for them, or make it easier for them to kill it. The whole theory behind this character, however, is just let him, make things easier, make things more, he's more utility focused than anything. So let's get into it. I think I'm being a bit semantic on a lot of this, and I'd like to just go in and talk to you guys about the character we've made here. So jumping right in, this isn't a healing ability. Curse an enemy with a magical bomb that explodes after 4 seconds, dealing 4,220 magic damage to all enemies in the area. If the bomb is dispelled or removed early, the explosion is triggered immediately. Each enemy within the bomb's radius increases the damage by 50%. This can be applied to multiple targets. Consider running a dungeon with a group, and you got all these fucking ads. You know what I mean? Have your tank pull a bunch of shit. Put this bomb on a bunch of things. Watch the room explode. You don't have to play for 4 seconds every time. You can just sit back, heal, relax, or you can, do some more things. This is just a great all-around utility bomb. The fact that it increases with enemies within the radius makes this, I think, one of the best dungeon healer abilities for damage, because you're not really going to be doing as much as the damage dealers, so you might as well have something that can compete in large packs. Next we have Blessing of Restoration. Slam your staff down, activate this blessing, healing you and your allies in front of you for 6,300. Also grants minor resolve, increasing you and your allies' physical resistance and spell resistance for 3,000 for 16 seconds as well. And this is a very, very I think this is a very, very good thing for this build. You want to be kind of mixing in buffing the teammates and buffing or debuffing the enemies. That's kind of this build. Is he's a buffer debuffer, and healer, and this is both. This is a heal and a buff. So take it. You know, that's what I would recommend. This is a good one. This is a really good one. It's in your restoration staff too, so you don't have to be any class to use it. Okay, then we have illustrious healing. Summon restoring spirits with your staff, healing you and your allies in the target area for 1300 health for every 1 second for 12 seconds. Now that is a that is a big radius. It's an 8-meter radius. It's quite a large circle you can put on the ground. It helps with sustaining healing, and I would say that the biggest reason to have this is so that you can drop it where you're running with the party, and we'll talk about running with the party here in a little bit. Next, we're taking Healthy Offering. This costs our health. This is a skill for the Nightblade specifically. Sacrifice your essence, healing an ally in front of you for 8,000 health, but draining your own health over 8 seconds. Now, while it's draining your health, you'll be getting minor mending, increasing your healing done by 8%. So, even though you just sacked almost 4,000 health, you'll be able to get that back quickly, and so will everyone else. Rapid Regeneration. Share your staff's life-giving energy, healing you or a nearby ally for 14k over 5 seconds. Fantastic short-term heal over time effect. It is definitely, this has been a fantastic one in all the groups that I've ran with, all the dungeons and everything else that I've done. This has made things considerably easier. It's a quick one. You know, you put it up, everyone else is getting healed. You just, you know, it's good for bosses, it's good for dungeoneering, it's good for PvP. I have yet to have found any flaw with this. It's just a heal, and it just works. Now for our ultimate, we're going to be using Soul Tether, Nightblade ability, and we're going to ravage the enemy's souls with True Rune, dealing 8,500 damage, healing for half of the damage, and stunning for 4 seconds. Ravaged enemies are tethered to me for 8 seconds, and they remain, as long as they remain within 10 meters, I siphon about 1,500 health from them every second. Now, any ally can target a ravaged enemy, deal 7,000 damage, and healing themselves for that amount as well. That is a big area. 8 meters again. I say that's a big area because it is. You know, you can walk up to a group of enemies, stun them all, heal yourself, and supply healing for the whole group. And you can do this as, you know, as much as you really want when it comes down to it, because 150 ultimate is really, really cheap for something this powerful. And a stun, while not exactly always useful, and you may not be able to stun them all, can definitely change the tide of battle, and definitely put you at a favorable position. Now we're going to talk about our back bar. Now for our back bar, we are using dual wielding. Now we're using, on this character specifically, we are using a dagger as well as a mace. Now let's talk about our abilities here. Well, for one, we're using Create a Corridor of Shadows, Twisting Path. We're using Twisting Path. Create a Corridor of Shadows, granting you and your allies in the area major expedition, increasing their movement speed by 30%. Effect persists for 4 seconds after leaving the path. Deals 1,500 magic damage to enemies that are in the ground. Now, you may see how this is working out, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be standing next to the tank or next to the boss, whatever. We're going to be standing up on them. And the reason for it, I think, is that you'll see as we continue to go on, is that we do better when things are grouped up. We just do. So we're going to drop healing on the ground. We're going to pop down this for everyone to get magical resistance and physical resistance. We're going to put one of these bombs on at least something. And then we're going to drop this. Why? Because as soon as something dies, we can go sprinting on. That's really, really interesting. I think this is a really good ability. And this is a Nightblade ability as well, and I really, really like it. Now jumping into our next one, we actually have a damage attack. which is we don't really have many just pure damage attacks. We typically have stuff that does other things, but this one, however, can stun the enemy if from hitting them from behind, right? So if you stab them in the back, you're going to stun them for 3 seconds. This is just another way to get a stun out on some enemies. I'd say the utility of it is about as much as you are willing to stealth or get behind a target. Otherwise, however, it does do a pretty good amount of damage, and it increases our movement speed while sneaking. This character doesn't sneak a whole lot, but sometimes you may need to. Now, Deadly Cloak. Envelop yourself in a protective cloak of razors, granting major evasion for 10 seconds, reducing damage from area attacks by 20%. That one's not huge. I don't really that upper part I can take it or leave it, but the main thing here is every 2 seconds the shrapnel will pulse, dealing 1600 physical damage to all enemies within 5 meters. We're doing more area damage. Now, we're talking about utility. And what do I think is a really good utility ability? Manifestation of Terror. Conceal two sinister traps. One at the target location, and another next to you. They take 2 seconds to arm and last for 1 minute. When each trap is triggered, a dark spirit is summoned up, and he will terrify all enemies, causing them to cower in fear for 4 seconds. Now, why do I like this ability on a healer? Well, have you ever been in I don't know if many of you guys are healers, but if you're ever in a situation where you're getting overwhelmed, this trap can, for the next 4 seconds, if no one hits the enemies, completely negate this. This damage. They can't do damage while they're in fear. So if they can't do damage, we can do damage and maybe turn the tides again. I like this ability a lot. I think it has a lot of utility, especially in PvP. And I think the biggest thing about this is it's for 4 seconds, but it only takes you 2 seconds, or 1 second actually, to cast Inevitable Detonation. So realistically, and this doesn't do damage at the original time, so it won't break the fear. Meaning that if you get them all grouped up together, you can drop a Manifestation of Terror, swap over here, and use your Inevitable Detonation, and blow the hell up out of them. It'll be a spectacular sight, and while you're at it, you might as well throw down Razor Caltrops. Hurl Ball that scatters over the target, dealing 600 damage every 1 second to enemies inside the circle, reducing their movement speed by 50%. Enemies who take damage from caltrops have major breach applied to them, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 6,000 for 3 seconds. This is massive. Consider that all of our abilities are AoE, even our healing ones, except 2. That's it. We can essentially, in combat, we can drop our Deadly Cloak down that lasts for 10 seconds. We can swap over to our healing staff at any time. So, how does it work? Well, we throw down our path first. We run up to the enemies. We put the path down again on top of the enemies, deal some damage, drop a Deadly Cloak, then we drop Razor Caltrops. Then we might want to drop down the Manifestation of Terror if we have time, swap back over to our main bar, add Inevitable Detonation on at least 1 or 2 enemies, and then just start healing. And there you go. That's how you Nightblade. Replenishing Barriers are ultimate as well. Invoke defensive tactics to protect yourself and a nearby group members with a ward that absorbs 27,000 damage. Each time the ward dissolves, I gain 3 ultimate and 900 mana. This is just to help my sustain, to help keep pumping out these things here. Talking about all of this, I would like to go into our CP levels. Champion points. Now, this is where we're at. We are at CP 300, or 300 and something. And this is what we've been picking. This is what I've been picking for this character. Now, we started over here. We reduced the cost of sprint. We granted 2% movement speed bonus. Not much, but it was there. We got 280 or 560 max health to add up some health. Restore 300 Magicka per stage whenever you kill an enemy. Next level, that will be 600. And reduces the cost of roll dodge by 120 stamina. Reduces the cost of break free by 110 stamina. And then increases the Magicka and health recovery while under the effects of crowd control immunity by 80. And for warfare, we've come over here. Now we first put our points into Magicka. We got ourselves 520 extra Magicka. Then we came down here and we grabbed ourselves, increases our healing done by 1%. We're still stacking some levels here to get that to another 1% or 2%. Then we have over here, healing yourself or an ally under 50% health grants them minor heroism for 1 second. For 1 second every Magicka recovery I have. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. Now minor heroism is important because that is ultimate regeneration. Whenever you heal yourself or an ally under 25% health, you grant them a damage shield that absorbs up to 4,400 damage per stage for 6 seconds. Can occur every 30 seconds per target. This is just a nice bonus. If your tank or any of your party members fall to a certain degree, it can be hard to maintain that sometimes. Not that much, but giving them that extra damage shield can definitely help them further so they can take another hit or keep going. It's just a good overall healer ability, I think. Now we're going to talk about craft over here. Even though it's not very important, we have reduces the cost of repairing our armor by 3%, increases your gold gained by 2%, increases the amount of gold you find in treasure chests and safe boxes by 20%, removes 1,000 gold bounty once per day, reduces the radius of sneak by 2 meters, and increases the value of fenced items by 25%. Now while we're here with this character, I would like to just go ahead and let's go through a couple other things here. So he has no points in stamina. He has 18 in health and 46 in Magicka. That leaves him with a 24k Magicka, 23.5 or so k health, and 15k stamina. He has a spell and weapon damage of 2773. He has a spell critical of 16.9, weapon critical of 14.9, spell penetration of 4200, physical penetration of 2400. He has a spell resistance of 17k. He has a physical resistance of 14.5k, and a crit resistance of 1441. Now, I think that leads us into our next point. And the point is that we can, at any time, and I will explain this in just a second, buff up our thing to 2600 spell and 2300 physical. Or sorry, 26,000 spell resistance and 23,000 physical resistance. Now, how can we do that? Well, here's how we do it. Let's go into our passives. Now, starting off on our passives here, we have in the class of Assassination on our Nightblade, Master Assassin, increasing our physical and spell penetration while hitting enemies from behind. We already have an ability that hits from behind, we may as well get a little bit extra out of it. If an enemy dies within 2 seconds, we restored 1000 Magicka and stamina as well. So as long as we damage it within 2 seconds, which we're AoEing, we're going to get some mana back. Now, for Shadow, we are running Dark Veil, increasing the duration of our non-invisibility based Shadow abilities by 1% or 1 second. We have Dark Vigor, increasing our max health by 3% for each Shadow ability slotted. Now on our Manger bar we don't have any, but whenever we swap over, we have a 9%, which means that That's just an extra little bit of health to help sustain while we are standing next to the boss or near the enemies. Casting a Shadow ability grants us Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k, and this duration is increased by 25% for each heavy armor piece equipped. Now we have a couple pieces of heavy armor equipped, I think 2, which means that our duration of the 6,000 resistance on both is 9 seconds. Now, coming in here to dual wielding, we are using Dual Wield Expert. We have the increased weapon and spell damage of our offhand by 6%. We grabbed, it reduces the cost of our dual wielding abilities by 15%. Ruffian gives us a 15% damage while attacking stunned, immobilized, disoriented, or silenced enemies. And then increased, then of course we have Twin Blade and Blunt. And this character just hit level 50 the other day, and I've been having this build for quite a while. I tweaked it recently, and once he gets to 50 in dual wielding, he's definitely getting the next rank of that. Now, talking about our restoration staff that we were talking about our restoration staff here just a minute ago, and we have Essence Drain. We gain Major Mending for 3 seconds after completing a fully charged heavy attack, increasing our healing done by 16%. We also heal yourself or a nearby ally to the target for 30% of the damage inflicted by the final hit. That is honestly a great passive. Increases your healing done by 15% on allies under 30% health. Now remember, if anyone falls below 25% health, we gain that shield too, so it definitely stacks up pretty well. Cycle of Life, we have the fully charged heavy attacks restore 30% more Magicka, and Restoration Master, increasing our healing done with Restoration Stab spells by 3%. Now, what kind of armor is this guy wearing? Well, he is wearing 2 pieces of heavy. He's wearing 1 piece of medium. And then the rest is light. So he has 4 light. Now, that means that we have a lot of things that we can take from here. So we have a heavy armor and light armor mix, so we've taken points in there. We have not taken points in medium armor, however, because we're only wearing 1 piece. Now, let's talk about it. Running Grace reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to us by 16% and reduces the cost of sprint for each piece by 12. Now it's 12%. Evocation increases our Magicka recovery by 16% and reduces the cost of our Magicka abilities by 8%. Spell Warding, increasing our spell resistance by 2,900. Increasing our critical rating by 438 for spells. Consecration, which is increasing our spell penetration by 1877. And now we go on to Heavy Armor. Now, Heavy Armor, we have increasing our physical and spell resistance by 686. We have increases our health recovery by 8%. You restore 216 Magicka and stamina whenever we take damage, and this can occur every 4 seconds. Now, increases our max health by 4%. And then we also have increasing the Magicka or stamina of our heavy attacks. Increases the Magicka or stamina our heavy attacks restore by 4% as well. Okay. Now, here we are, and we are in the Alliance Warfare skill tree. This is where we got our Inevitable Detonation and Razor Calibs. We're taking Continuous Attack. I continue to repeat this because I don't know if everyone knows this, but it gives us Major Gallop at all times, increasing our mount speed by 30%. It's a no-brainer. Might as well take it. Even though this character can run as fast as his mount, it's still nice. Now let's talk about why Orc. Well, Orcs firstly gain experience with the Heavy Armor skill line by 15%. and the crafting inspiration is gained is increased by 10% as well. Small bonuses, however, small bonuses, as you see, make of one class. We're also brawny, increasing our max stamina by 1,000. Now, unflinching rage. I think this is where the build really takes off, increasing our max health by 1,000. But when we deal damage, we heal for 2146 health. This can occur every 4 seconds. That is fantastic. We're already pumping out a lot of damage in general, and just in an area. So this means that this is going to be popping a lot. And we also have Swift Warrior, increasing our weapon and spell damage by 258, and reduces the cost of sprint by 12%, increasing the movement speed bonus of sprint by 10%. Now, I would like to go ahead and show this character off in a dungeon. So I will be right back. Alright everybody, we had some recording issues for a minute. Either way, we are back, and we are going to jump into a dungeon. Now, let's hope we get in here quick. I don't know who we're grouping with. This is a completely random group, and I want to show off the capabilities of this build that I have. I would like to show you guys that this build, while a healer and using a lot of damage, can still be very viable. He's not exactly the most standard build that you'll see. He definitely varies a lot on his damage specifically. He's not necessarily a damage dealer, however. Remember that. He just has damage abilities. And the reason he has damage abilities is because, what else are you going to do whenever there's no healing needing to be done? You might as well pop something on the boss or on the group or whatever. Now we're going to be running Crypt of Hearts, apparently. A dungeon, and let's just see how this goes. I haven't done this on this character yet, so this is a completely fresh experience here. Boop. Alright, there we go, got him stunned. And we're gonna go ahead and pop the healer, or pop the tank. We'll grab the quest here. Now, I might not be talking too much during this one, but I'll try to keep up conversation. But I figured this might be something interesting to see. So, yeah, we're making our way through this one pretty good. Drop down this, drop down that. We're gonna go ahead and put this on this guy here. We'll move our way out here. We're gonna go ahead and get a couple of these guys off balance. And there we go. Pop down a pathway for our group here. Pop down another pathway. There we go. Let's go down another pathway here. That's what we're going to be doing a lot of this time, is just popping down pathways. Now we're going to go ahead and put a trap down onto the guy's feet. Pop down that area of effect healing. Go ahead, and we're going to drop that again. Drop caltrips. Drop a pathway on top of the boss, help everyone with speed. And we're going to start stabbing. Drop another caltrips, drop, update that. Broke the fear. Here we go. And there we go. Everyone's at full health again. We're good on space, too. Alright. Go talk to her. Alright. Drop down this pathway. Chest, huh?
I wanted to speak to you as well. What's this I hear about you teaching advanced destruction? I want the students able to defend themselves without family.
Well, let me grab it. Either way. Drop down this. And there we go. Start healing. And there we go. Big bomb. I love the sound of that bomb. That bomb always, it's just visceral hearing it. Drop down a pathway. Let's get this boosting up. There we go. A little bit of a side trail. Let's loot up in here. Oh, nice. Leviathan. I'm just following where these guys go. Gotta stay with the party. When you're a healer, I'd recommend always staying with the party. As much as you can. Even if they're running the wrong way, really. I mean, you really want to stay with them. They'll figure it out most likely on their own, or you can tell them yourself. God damn it, Jack, coming in here while I'm recording. Sending me a message. Alright. We're going to pop this on him, drop that, and there we go. Now we can just start damaging. Pop down our pathway. We're going to go ahead and set down a trap. Pop this down, get everyone a little bit extra resistance. There we go. Boss down.
You've done enough. You have
Alright, and there's that quest done. Or there's that quest continued, really. Pop down a pathway. Let's catch up to the group.
Olinway, I don't think your husband enjoys my company.
There we go. Caltrips, drop that. Put down this. We're going to go ahead and drop some healing. And there's Uncard done. Break this phylactery, talk to the shard. Alright. So like I was saying though before, this character is very utility focused. You know, healing is kind of healing is first, I would say, on the build. However, it definitely is outshined a lot by the potential damage of it. There we go. And then we're gonna drop down a bat. Ooh yeah, that's gonna blow up here in a second. 7K, 7.5 I think. Alright. Oh my god. Anyway. Here we go. Yeah, this guy here, he's been able to hold his own very well, I'd say. Definitely a very good tank. There you go. We're gonna get both of these guys off balance. We're gonna go ahead and drop down a heal. There are 2 of them here, which means that I can do that. Pop that on him. Pop it on him. Alright, bomb on him. Alright, bombs out. Get that extra 25% damage on these bombs for sure, why not? There's one of them down. Alright, and the activity's complete. And I wanted to just say, you know, watching all that, that was, I hope that was enjoying for you guys to watch. He's definitely one of my favorite characters here. I mean, he just feels kind of, I don't know, he just feels kind of visceral, you know what I mean? He's a very quick character. He's always running around doing something, and he's a walking toolbox. It's really what he is, a walking toolbox. And I think we all like to have tools when we need them. And there you go, extra skill point. And as I said before, I'm gonna go ahead and update my skill point, or this over here, and now we get 600 Magicka. We're gonna go ahead and just confirm it. I'll put that other point in somewhere else in a minute. Come over here. We're going to go ahead and invest into our next 1% of healing. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to get my armor repair fixed as well. And so yeah, I'd like to say, you know, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please go ahead, you know, leave yourself a comment, leave yourself a like, and subscribe to the channel. This has been SpyPie Gaming, and we talk about industry gaming and as well as Elder Scrolls Online builds, guides, and everything else revolving the world it is in. We like to say, you know, that we're eternally grateful for all the support we've gotten on this channel. It's been tremendous, and it definitely keeps us going. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time in a later video. I think next week we're gonna have some really fun stuff planned. I know that last week had some pretty sad stuff in it, but we're moving past it and we're playing some Elder Scrolls Online and we're back to it.